Hello friends and welcome to the show! In this episode of Studiowise we are going to plunge into the thick of British music production. So we are in London and today we are privileged to visit an outstanding and very famous British producer named Sigala. By the age of 25 he already has a world-famous song Easy Love, hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, and famous collaborations with John Newman, Craig David. He's a really awesome guy. Please welcome Sigala. Hey Bruce, what is the reason in your opinion that Britain has so many famous musicians and artists? What are the prerequisites of that?
I don't really know. I mean, the obvious answer is that a lot of places speak English, so you know, that music translates to lots of other countries where maybe English is their second language or their third, or they can understand it enough to enjoy it.
And what kind of music did you listen to when you were a child? This might be the reason, right?
I listened to loads of different music. I listened to stuff that my parents listened to, like a lot of rock music, like AC/DC and Queen, Motorhead, like a lot of like British rock bands, and American like Guns N' Roses and things like that.
Cool.
That was sort of what I grew up listening to, and then I got more into dance music and discovered like electronic music. But like, I've always just loved pop music. Like I used to listen to the Spice Girls when I was a kid, and I used to love it, and I still listen to pop music, and but like my influences are so broad. I have, you know, every day I'm in the mood to listen to something different. If it's like a band or like jazz or some really hard dance music or whatever.
I'm asking because I'm being a host of a club chart on a famous Russian radio station called Radio Record, and every other song there comes from Britain.
Yeah, it's one place that I haven't been to, but I would love to go.
Before you released your first track, you had been producing for a bunch of other artists. How long did it last, and when did you realize that you want to produce for yourself?
I did that for maybe 3 or 4 years, just writing music for other people, and also just writing music and then trying to send it to people and get in touch with people. And it's really tough, like if you don't know the right people to have your music listened to. And it was really difficult, so I decided to start just making music that I really loved and making music for myself, and that was when everything changed. Really, I stopped focusing on what I thought other people wanted, and just focused on making the music that I really loved. And that was when I made Easy Love, which was my first single. And it went like so well. I had no expectations for it, and it just absolutely blew up. And that was when I realised that was what I needed to do. Just keep doing, you know, what came naturally to me.
Am I right saying that you learned how this music industry works and built sort of a network, and thereby learned how to launch the songs of your own?
Yeah, it all started from maybe 1 or 2 people, and finding people who made the kind of music that I wanted to make, and also people who knew other people, because it's not much fun making music on your own every day. So I tried to find other writers, singers, other people who played instruments, anything really, because I knew nobody like when I moved to London. And yeah, I slowly started to build this sort of team of people that I love to work with, and I thought that was really important at the time.
Bruce, you're a world-famous music star. How many teammates work with you, and what are their roles?
Yeah, there's many different sides of what I do. There's the making the music, and there's loads of amazing songwriters and singers and people that I work with in that, and then there's my touring life, and I have a team who helps make that happen and make sure the shows happen and I get there on time and all that. And then I've started a publishing company to publish new writers, and a label to find new talent and new musicians, and and then I have my management and my label. Like there's so many different areas of what I do. Like there's a lot of people behind it all.
In an interview, you've mentioned a collaboration with Rita Ora. Did you manage to get it off the ground?
No, not yet. I had a song that she had sung on that I was working on, and then nothing came of it. But I'm still trying to make something happen.
Should we expect more collaborations with Craig David?
Yeah, potentially. I love working with him, and I just did his support for his UK tour. And like he was one of the first proper artists that I had worked with because I released Easy Love, and then I think Sweet Lovin', and then I hadn't really worked with like a high profile artist until I met him, and I was really scared. I was like, oh my God, like it's Craig David. Like I'd listened to his music when I was a child, and he was, you know, a big part of music culture, and I met him, and he's just a really nice guy, and we wrote some really cool songs, and hopefully, yeah, I'd love to do more with him.
What is your vision on modern dance music today, and what's going to happen in 5 years' time from your perspective?
I don't really know. It's obviously doing amazing at the moment, and all sort of electronic music is, you know, in the charts and is massively popular, and like dance festivals are some of the biggest festivals in the world, and it's a great time to be in dance music. I don't really know where it's going to go in the future. Someone will probably release something that will completely change the direction of it, and then everyone will be trying to make something different. But yeah, it's exciting, man. Like you don't really know what's going to happen at the end of the year or next year, which is pretty cool.
Are you familiar with any Russian producers or musicians? Maybe you can name some?
No, I'm sorry, man. I should. I live in a little bubble. I don't know many English artists either. I spend all my time in this room, and I don't really get out much.
Maybe some Russian songs then, apart from famous Russian Kalinka?
No, not really.
Don't worry guys, Rome wasn't built in a day, and the best is yet to come. Despite we're not so popular, I hope one day Russian producers will mark some place abroad as well. You're a big fan of cars. You even have this Audi R8 in your garage. Tell us about your car park, and what else are you driving apart from this wicked red Audi you have?
Yeah, I just have the Audi. It's my everyday car. I go to the shops in it, and it has the boot, like space is about this big, so you have to just cram your shopping in. But yeah, I love it, man. I'm really into cars. I do like rally driving a few times a year. I have a Subaru Impreza that is like full like rally spec. I often go with John Newman because he's like really into cars as well. So we kind of go and geek out and drive cars up in Wales in the hills. Yeah, it's nice.
Are you often seen on public transport? Can I meet you in a subway, for instance?
Not much. I don't really go like into the city centre very much. So I live 30 minutes drive from the studio and probably an hour from the airport. So I don't really need to go into town very often. But yeah, I hate the tube.
You must have been a big Top Gear lover when you were a child, right? I mean, it's been a very popular show in Russia, and it still is.
Is it? No way. Yeah, I love Top Gear. It's been going for a long, long time now. But it was best when it was Jeremy Clarkson and the original crew, because they're doing new episodes now with different people, but I just kind of stopped watching it after that. But yeah, like some of they do these big adventures where they go like, they did like Vietnam and all these amazing journeys, and it's so cool to see. Like I'd love to do something like that.
Let us first have a little walk-around trip. Along with a music studio, Sigala has a huge office, and a world-famous artist like him can afford it in an exclusive upper-class neighborhood. Right away we can see his music sales awards, and all the best Sigala music hits are collected here on the walls, one by one. Easy Love is a major attraction here for sure. Here is a guest room. If anybody wants to record something, it's supposed to be done here. Here is some vinyl. Looks pretty stylish here. Huge Genelec studio monitors, accompanied by Atom monitors. It feels like in a ghost producer room. Let's move on. Here is the Gold Creator Award given by YouTube for 1 million plus subscribers. Wow, this is a vintage old-fashioned piano made in Germany more than 40 years ago. Looks spectacular, like Stevie Wonder type piano. It's called Wurlitzer, but with a German accent, you know? And finally, Giraffes Bro.
This is the piano room. So I often will just write songs on the piano. So yeah, I just don't think I'm quite cool enough to here, you have one. We can be a guitar duo. Yeah? Thanks, man.
Is it your wardrobe or something?
Yeah, it's for like shows and like promo and things like that. I have some clothes so that I look presentable. This is like, I've got my grand piano in here, which is probably one of my favourite things in the world. We'll take you to the studio that I first started in, which is just down there, and kind of show you how much it's changed since then.
Now we're rushing to the first studio that Bruce had in the beginning of his long music journey.
It's a little different, right?
You started creating your first music hits in this very room, right?
It's part of my management company. When I first met them, they look after these studios, so they work with a lot of new artists and things. The place is called Talyard, and yeah, so that I was able to use the studios sort of a few times a week, and work with singers and people, and yeah, we'd all get in here and gets very hot, hot and sweaty, but it's cool, man. I got some good memories of these rooms. There's a few around. My second single, Sweet Lovin', I made it in here on probably this mic.
What is your mic?
I don't know what it is. It's for
X1?
SE Electronics X1.
Did you record Easy Love in here?
No, I didn't, but it was around the time I was using these studios, but I wrote Easy Love in my bedroom, in the flat that I was living in. I have like a very similar, just like a desk and a laptop and some headphones, like no big equipment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, initially you've worked in this little studio and produced for other artists, and then, when things went well, you moved to a bigger office and set up a bigger studio that we've just been to, right?
It didn't go from here straight to the one that we were just in. There was like 3 or 4 studios in between, like just got slightly bigger every time. But yeah, like I'll probably move studio again, and I still haven't fully built my own studio, which is like a big dream of mine, to be able to like fully customize everything and have it exactly how I want it. So maybe one day I'll be able to do that as well. But in the time being, like, I'm really happy where I am. You're watching Pastudiem.
Every song of yours has truly magnificent pianos. What plugins do you usually use for this?
Lots of different stuff, really. The Korg M1 is like the main sort of dance piano sound that everyone uses. But I do, like, I sample, I've got a piano here. I've recorded like every key, and I can play it on here. And I have a grand piano down the end. I try and record that. But I often like blend a few, so I have like the sort of attack from the M1, and then more of the kind of like warmth and the real harmonics from a real piano, I guess. So it's like a big, because a lot of my songs, the piano is like the main thing, and then the rest is sort of like just stuck on. So like the piano needs to sound massive. So it's usually about 5 different piano plugins.
In his interviews, Craig David noticed that you're being really scrupulous when it comes to producing. How much time does it usually take with such a picky approach?
Yeah, a long time, man. Easy Love took me about 4 hours. But since then, it's longer and longer and longer for each track. I have this timer on my session which tells me this is
3 hours, really?
yeah, this is just since we got here.
You gotta be kidding me. 4 hours for Easy Love?
Yeah.
No way.
But it was more than that.
Oh.
But I think the most has been 180 hours, I think, for one song, which is like, I don't know, a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. It's a long time. Because I do, I'll write the song quite quickly, or I'll write a whole load of, like, 100 songs, and then I'll probably spend just a few hours making them. And then once I find out which is the one that I think is the best and I want to carry on and finish it, I'll make a lot of different versions in different styles and different approaches, different chords, different sounds. And then I'll take a break and listen to all these versions and see which one is the best, and then do more versions from that. And it's a long process, but I really enjoy doing that. Like, it's very satisfying to me to pay that close attention to detail and then be finished with something at the end that's like, this. I know this is the best that it can be at this time.
Easy Love was based on Jackson 5 a cappella. How did those records come into your hands? Were they freely available?
Someone gave it to me. I was here, like, just outside, and I met somebody who's an engineer. He was working, I think he was working for the Basement Jacks, who were in this room before me, and he was just like, oh, I've got all these instrumental and stems from all these songs. He had, like, The Police and Jackson 5 and Bob Marley and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, please, can I have them? Can I have them? Because I didn't really have any singers that I was working with at the time. I wanted to have some vocals just to make some songs. And yeah, the guy gave them to me, and then that weekend I spent making, I did like a Marvin Gaye remix, and then the following weekend I made Easy Love. Yeah, so like thanks to that guy. Alex was his name, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
When it comes to producing, what are these steps? Do you make a drum section first, or put vocals initially? Pianos can go first as well, right? Tell us about your workflow step by step.
Usually it just starts on the piano or with the chords. Like with the Jackson 5 vocal, I just played the a cappella and just played some chords over it until I found something that sounded really cool. Yeah, and then so once I have the chords, everything can be stretched from there. You can work out the time, how fast you want the track, and all that kind of stuff. So I think I pitched up the Jackson 5 a cappella by like 1 semitone, which made it slightly faster than what it was. And yeah, like all the for me, like all the emotion and all the feeling comes from which chords you play, and there's probably 50 different chords that can work under one vocal. So many different options. So I'll just play around and try different things, and there's chords that I've used in more than one of my songs that people probably don't realise, but they're the same because they give that same emotion. Yeah, so I'll just experiment until I find the right chords, and then the rest is the hard work.
Have you always been using Pro Tools, or maybe you had some other programs like FL Studio, for instance?
Yeah, always Pro Tools, man. It was the first. But my friend gave me it. Again, good friends, man. He just he gave me it, and because I wanted to record my band. Because we couldn't afford to go to a proper studio, so I was like, oh, I'll do it, it'll be fine. So we recorded my band with Pro Tools, and then yeah, I just kept on using it. And there's a whole load of different programs that probably do it just as good or better in some ways, but yeah, I like to stick to what I know.
Easy case.
This is the Easy Love piano. That was the piano I used for Easy Love.
What plugins do you usually insert to the master channel?
I use Isotope Ozone. I think there's a newer one than the one I have, but I like it. And I have this, which is the glue plugin, which is just like a really soft compression to bring everything together. And this is something new. I've been using Gullfoss, which kind of is like an intelligent multi-band compressor, so it kind of like will fix a lot of problems, which is really cool. I just use it like a very little bit, and then this is my limiter, although these kind of limit as well, but this is how it's loud and punchy. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I make sure it's hitting about -8. About -8 is a good place, but I have a mastering engineer who masters, but like I will get it to pretty much to that point. But there's a couple of, I mastered a couple of my own tracks. It just takes me a little bit longer than the other guys. But yeah, I quite enjoyed the mixing process as well. Because when I'm making a track, it's all MIDI, a lot of instruments, a lot of like chopped up samples and things like that, and the session is massive and very complicated, and it's nice to consolidate everything to stems like this. Then you have a very simple layout of all the parts, and then you can sort of mix from there.
What's the key of your keys? What effects make such a signature sound?
Compression and delay mostly. This guy I use on like everything because it's a really nice compression. It has quite a slow attack, so you still get the impact of all the notes. And then I'll use because a lot of the pianos I use are very like thin and mono sounding, so I like the ping pong delay on this because you get like a lot of left right action.
Oh,
and then
nice.
And it sort of fills all the gaps, I guess, so it makes it sound much bigger. That's pretty much it. Maybe like this OTT plugin, which it basically makes everything like massively compressed. But yeah, it makes everything sound fat. But maybe not that much, maybe like just a little bit of that.
Can you please play us the vocal track to hear it separately from the mix?
Quite similar really, like I use this compressor for loads of stuff. CLA vocals, which is like super common if you're making music, then this is kind of like a staple for a go-to vocal. Something like this, because it has like all different types of processing in one, so it's got like some EQing, compression, reverb, delay. This you don't really need, the stereo widening. It's a really good like quick vocal chain all in one thing, and then a bit of auto-tune, and you've got like a decent sounding vocal. But then like after that, that's probably what I'll use to make a good demo. But then when it comes to mixing, it really depends on who's singing it, because each vocal requires its own processing really. Like some people will require much more to get that like fatness, and some people just sound great when they just sing on a mic and you don't really have to do much. So it really depends on who's singing.
Very good songs.
Yeah, it's really annoying when you're trying to record because the mic's literally there, so you have to sit like really still. So this is one I recorded in this room with Ella Air. Came here for Love. This was and it made my job quite easy because she has such an amazing voice. I didn't really have to do too much to make it sound great.
Was it hard to record John Newman?
That one didn't take too long, because we were both really involved in that process, and he has like such a good ear for sounds, and he was able to bring lots of cool ideas. And he plays, you know, different instruments as well. So like when we wrote the song, we already had like a real clear vision of what we wanted it to be like. So this is Ella's vocal. I've showed it to some people before, so I hope she doesn't mind me playing it.
I'm broken-hearted, so glad I came here tonight.
So that's it with nothing on it as the mic recorded it. There's like, you can kind of hear the room a little bit in the background. And you can hear the song through our headphones here, a little bit coming through. So auto-tune, there's not much on there. She doesn't really need it, but it just, for pop music, it just sounds good. This is an EQ, just a very basic, like taking out some of the muddiness down here. This compressor, which I showed you earlier, some CLA, but this is the like reverb, and the delay is automated. So as the track plays, these guys will sort of like into the chorus, the delay will come up. So you get all the big delays coming up to fill the space. This was before I bounced everything and mixed it. It's very disorganized, like there's no names like for the track. Yeah, that's that. But yeah, this is probably one of the longest processes of making a song, because I changed it so many times. I had like a completely different version that we made the music video to, and then I came back to it and remade the production. But yeah, it's a lot of fun working on this track. But that's basically the vocal chain, a few little EQs as well, and then another compressor and a multi-band compressor, which is kind of doing quite a lot, really. Yeah, and then there's BVs and stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, I learned pretty much everything about making music from just watching YouTube videos and things like that. So it's all, and then the rest I just kind of like made up, I guess. So I don't really know much more than the average person.
It's quite time for Ask Me Anything section, and I'm going to ask the nicest questions from the subscribers. One day before the shooting, I publish a poll for questions, so you can ask the upcoming guests anything you like. A question by Vladislav Grozny from Russia. Bruce has a Bachelor of Arts for commercial music. The trick is, Russian musicians consider music education a perfect time waster. Was it useful for Bruce in this regard, and what did he get from his university degree?
I feel like if you want to do music, no one really cares if you have a piece of paper that says you've studied to do something, because it's quite easy to get one if you just turn up to the classes. But like, the reason I did it is because it gave me the opportunity to move to London. I wasn't able to do that otherwise, so it was something to tell my parents, look, I'm going to go and study, and they were like, okay, like he's going to further his career. And the other reason is because I didn't really know anyone, so I met other people who made music, and singers, and even the teachers, like they would help me they offered me work, and I made some music for TV and things through just knowing people at the university. So for those reasons, like I wouldn't be where I am today without having that. Yeah, so it really helped me.
And another one, can you make a living in London being a musician? And I will add something if you will. Did you manage to make a living by producing for other artists back in those days?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough because it's an expensive place to live. It's expensive to rent a flat or a room or a shed in London. Like, you don't really get very much for your money. And most musicians, when they start out, they don't make much money. I didn't make any money for for a long time and just had to do what I could to pay the rent. And that sounds really bad. I was able to do like a few sort of music jobs here and there that weren't really what I wanted to do, but they were enough to give me enough money to live. And I had a flat that I paid £200 a month to rent, which is probably the cheapest rent ever in London, but the building was like falling apart. And yeah, it's tough, and there's loads of musicians who go through the same thing, and you just have to kind of keep focused on what you want to achieve, and yeah, eventually you'll get there.
Reminder, one day before the shooting an episode, I make a poll on my social media page where you can ask our guests anything you like. Go for it! And now let's drop into the most famous nightclub of London called Ministry of Sound. It's no accident we are here. Sigala is giving a concert today.
Очень рады, что народу много, потому что, к сожалению, в России уже клубная культура идет на спад, но здесь эта история продолжается, это не может не радовать.
And now let us invade some dance floors. There are so many of them in here. The club has 2 check rooms. They are not free, by the way. The cost is £2.5. Paid check rooms are not really common in Russia, so it looks quite unusual for me. Ministry of Sound has 4 massive dance floors, and all of them are stuffed with people, as you see. The music is different from room to room. This one is for some really acid stuff. Let us switch the dance floor now. Whoa, some funky house over here. And here are some VIP rooms. Let's have a look at it. These VIP rooms are for artists. Here Sigala is getting ready to the show together with some other artists, and we can see the main dance floor through those large windows.
Теперь давайте пойдем на основной танцпол, посмотрим через балкон на него. Там просто сейчас биток.
We are live in Ministry of Sound, and this is Sigala land. Sigala!
It's worth mentioning that despite so many people attend this party, we haven't seen a single quarrel or fight. Everyone was really friendly to us. Please let us know in the comments below what other iconic places you want to see in the next episodes. Would you like to say some parting words to our audience and to everybody who's been making music or trying to make these first steps?
Hi guys, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure. If you're a fan, thank you so much. I really appreciate all my fans. If you're somebody who's making music, I hope you have something you can take away from this and just keep doing what you're doing and yeah, working hard. This has been fun, man.
And that's not all, because I have some tiny traditional presents for you.
Oh, I love a mug.
It's our branded Studiowise cup with some Russian willow herb inside. Is it true that the British drink some tea in the middle of the day?
No, but I will now.
Oh man, I collected this tea with my own hands.
Thank you so much, man.
And some cool stickers inside.
Oh, nice. Just put it everywhere, yeah?
Yeah.
That's for you, Bruce. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time very much. Dear friends, if you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and please share your thoughts in the comments below which guest you want to see next in our show. We are constantly coming out with new videos, so push the bell button and see you next time. Cheers!